I feel like we're running into like a little bit of a Goldilocks situation. Like these colors change too fast and these colors change too slow. Like, can we find one that's just right? Hello and welcome to the Faded Wildflower Crochet. My name is Rachel, and today is another episode of Will It All Me, which is a series on my channel where I test out different types of yarn and see if they work for Amigurumi. But today's video is going to be a little bit different because we're testing out 4 different types of rainbow yarn. If you don't already know, my main job is creating custom pets on my Etsy shop. So that means that I work with a lot of neutral colors of yarn, which, don't get me wrong, is still fun. But when I'm not creating those custom pets, I really want to work with bright, fun colors. So I have been on a mission to find the perfect rainbow yarn to use for my projects. So I thought I would go into my local Joann and pick up 4 different kinds of rainbow yarn and see which one is the very best for Amigurumi. For today's video, we are going to be making squid plushies. As you can probably tell by my background, I am obsessed right now with making squids. This is my own design. You can find the pattern for this size on my Etsy shop. I am actually going to be working for the pattern for the mini ones and the larger ones, but right now you can find this one on my Etsy shop. But I really think that squid and octopus and jellyfish are the perfect type of project to work with rainbow yarn or bright color variegated yarns, that kind of thing. So I think that this guy is going to be perfect to test out our rainbow yarn. Okay, here is a closer look at all 4 of these yarns, and I will try to pop up on the screen what prices you can get these yarns at. I forgot to look that up beforehand, and I have forgotten what I paid for each of these, but this is the Big Twist value, and the color is called, sorry, my camera's not focusing, Rainbow Bright. So it is these like bright, it's not like a traditional rainbow, it's more of these bright colors. And then there's also like some black in there, which is interesting. So we'll see how that one goes. That is the Big Twist value. Then we have Caron Simply Soft. And this again is sort of a more muted pastel-y type of rainbow. And the color is Rainbow Bright. So there's that one. And I used to use Caron Simply Soft, and I still use it quite a bit. But it used to be my absolute go-to yarn for when I'm making my custom dogs and cats. But I found that the quality has kind of gone down over the years. And there's a lot more like knots and that kind of thing in the skeins. And it just splits a lot worse than it used to. But we'll see how this one goes. I really like the colorway, so we'll see. And then this one is the Big Twist Living Yarn. I feel like this is the one that I'm the most excited about. If you don't know, this is a Joann line of yarn. And it has a bunch of different colors that coordinate to different pride flags, which I think is really cool. And I just went with the traditional rainbow one. I absolutely love the colors of this. They're so bright. And the colorway is just called Inclusivity. But look at that. Like, there is such a bright colorway that I'm really excited for that one. And it feels pretty soft. I have worked with Big Twist Living before as well, and I've had good experience with it, just the one time that I've used it, but I haven't used any of the colorful ones yet, so I'm excited about that one. And then, okay, this one is a little bit of a wild card because it is a striped yarn, as you can kind of tell. I feel like the camera's not really picking up the brightness of these, or really, it's picking up the brightness, but not the like variegations of these shades. So it's like, it's striped, but there's also like, you can kind of see it right here. Yeah, you can kind of see it. There's like a little bit of variegation right there. Can you see what I mean? So I'm hoping that even though it's striped, that it will look good. I'm a little bit nervous about the fact that it's a striped yarn. I don't usually use striped yarns because I have no idea how it's going to look in my pattern. if the stripes are going to be like too thick, or, you know, they're not going to show up in a nice way. But I guess that's kind of what this video is for, is to test these things out. So this one is called Favorite Stripes, and it is the Red Heart brand. And it's the Red Heart Super Saver, so it does have that very Red Heart Super Saver feel. If you know, you know. It's very, like, not the softest, but I do feel like it's gotten better than it used to. I used to use Red Heart Super Saver way back in the day when I first started crocheting, and I do feel like it's gotten a little bit better as far as softness, but it's definitely the least soft of all of these that I'm looking at so far. So I think my plan is to crochet just this kind of top portion of the squid in each one, and then come back and compare them, and then we'll kind of go from there. So let's get started on the crocheting. Here is what we got so far, just the tops of each of the squids. And this is the first one I did, which is the Big Twist Value. It is an easy yarn to work with, first of all. Not really any splitting. It's not the softest, but it's not the roughest either. I was not expecting quite as much lavender to be showing here. And I'm not sure why I didn't expect that, because there is quite a bit of lavender in the yarn, like you can see that. But I think that it's going to look really nice as we go along. It is very bright. I don't even know if the camera is picking it up as much as it is in person, but this is like almost a neon, like a highlighter color. I am actually really interested to see how this plays out, because I am liking it so far. I like the colors themselves. I wish there was less of the lavender. That's just personal. A lot of this is going to come down to personal preference, like what you want to see. But I do wish there was a little bit less of the lavender. But it could look really cool as we go along. So we'll see. Here is the Simply Soft. I, again, was not expecting the colors to change quite as quickly. I feel like we're running into like a little bit of a Goldilocks situation. Like, these colors change too fast and these colors change too slow. Like, can we find one that's just right? I don't know. But this one, I do feel like the colors changed a little fast for my liking. And again, all of this comes down to personal preference. I just don't know if I love how fast these changed, but I do think it looks, and it looks even cooler on camera than it does in person, I feel like. But I will say that the Simply Soft was very easy to work with this time. I had no splitting so far, so that's really nice. And I will say all of these are, I forgot to say this before, but all of these are acrylic worsted weight yarn. They're supposed to be the same weight. Although if you know, you know that different yarns are thicker than others, even if they say they're the same weight. You know, that's how it goes. So that is a Simply Soft. And then here is the Big Twist Living. I am kind of disappointed that it didn't start with red. If I could go back, I would try to find the red and start with that. But I really just started with where the yarn decided it wanted to start. I wasn't really expecting it to, I thought it was just going to kind of fade nicely. It did kind of go from orange to yellow, back to orange, and then to yellow. And you can see we are almost to the green. So these are much longer pooling than I expected as well. But I really like the way that looks, actually. Can you see how that's like, it almost looks like a pretty kind of like sunset-y type of look. So I actually do really like the way this looks, and I like the way it feels. It's very nice to work with. So there is that one. And then we have our Red Heart stripes. And you can see that it does sort of have other pieces of the yarn color, like little bits of the other colors within the big stripe, but it is quite like, you can see we're still working with this color for quite a while. I may have made a mistake picking this striped yarn. I kind of knew when I bought it, but I thought maybe it'll look good. I don't know. I wanted to have 4 different yarns for this video, and I couldn't really find another variegated one. I really wanted to just be able to go into my store, buy these yarns, and compare them. I didn't want to have to order online. And so I may have made a mistake with this one here, but we'll see as we go along. Like, I might end up really liking the way it looks. I find it very funny that just the very top is a different color. I don't know why they did that. It started out with like the lighter orange for just a little bit, and then it went into this darker orange. I do like the color. I don't love Red Heart Super Saver as far as texture. It's a little harder to work with than the other ones. A little, I won't say harder to work with, but it's rougher texture than the other ones. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes, but that is what I have so far. I think I'm going to start with the Big Twist Living, which is just because it's my favorite so far. So I really want to see how these colors turn out. So I think I'm going to make the whole squid of this one, and then I will check back in with you guys. Okay, our little big twist squid is done. I still have to weave in this end, but other than that, it's done. He is cute, but I'm pretty disappointed because we didn't even get to the red and this yarn. So basically how this yarn works is that it would start with red, although mine only started with orange, but it would go red to orange to yellow to green to blue, and then it goes to purple and then goes back to blue and then works it backwards all the way back down to red. So because of that, we didn't even get to the red. So it is a rainbow squid without the red. So that is a little bit disappointing. I also don't really like how it does this. Like I was saying earlier, it kind of goes to yellow and then it like starts to change into green, but then it goes back to yellow and then back to green. It does that on every color. It can look kind of cool. Like right here, that looks kind of cool, but like right there, I don't like the way that looks at all. Like I wish that it wouldn't have like changed to green and then back to yellow. I just don't really love that. Like right here, it looks kind of fine, but I would just like it if it was all like it's faded nicely into each color, if that makes sense. Like I just don't really love the way they did the dyeing on that. I will say it is a great yarn to work with. I had no problems with splitting or any knots or anything like that. It was a great yarn to work with. So this is probably just not the best pattern for this particular yarn. I think something bigger would be better, especially if you want to get to all the different color changes. If that doesn't bother you, then you know you can be fine with any pattern. But if you want to be able to get to all of the different color changes, this size is not really going, and it is pretty, like it's not too big. So if you were to go a little bit bigger, then you would be able to get to the red. So I think I might make this in the giant squid that I have. I might use this same yarn for that because I think that could look really cool. But overall, it's not the perfect yarn, but it's still pretty cute. So I think I'm going to get started on this one. I'm going to finish this guy up. This is the Big Twist Value, so that is the next one I'm going to be working on. So I will check in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, here is our Big Twist Value one all worked up, and I feel like I put the eyes a little too close together, but it's still pretty cute. I have mixed feelings about this one as well. I just feel like the color changing on it was a little bit chaotic. Like I couldn't quite figure out, like I never knew which color was coming next. It was just a little bit strange. You can see right here, there was quite a bit of lavender in a row. And then down here was the same thing, but there was also just like some lavender here in between. There was like lots of color changing here. The orange started to kind of pool in this area. it was just all over the place, to be honest. And I just feel like it's one of those circumstances where I really like the way it looks better in the skein than I do in once it's worked up. So I think that's just one of those things that you just really never know until you start working up a variegated yarn, like exactly how it's going to turn out. Here's our two that we have so far next to each other. This is the Big Twist Living. This is the Big Twist Value. I'm not really sure which one I like better. I still like the colors, dog hair. I still like the colors of this one better than the more bright colors of this one. I feel like I keep thinking, I'm looking at this yarn and I'm like, this would make a cute spider. And I think it's just because the orange and the black are next to each other. And then it's got like the really neon green, which I feel like you see with Halloween decorations sometimes. So I don't know, maybe I'll try that for some sort of Halloween pattern. You'll have to let me know what you think, but I'm not sure that a squid was the right pattern for this. So I kind of feel like with both of these so far, I don't really know if the squid was the best pattern, but I do like both of them still. I still think they're very cute, but I am still not sure that I have found my perfect rainbow yarn yet. So let's keep going. I'm going to work with this one next, the Red Heart Stripe. So let's check that one out. Okay, here is the Red Heart Stripes all worked up, and shock of the century, I actually like this one the best so far. I am so surprised at how much I like this. How cute. I really like the stripes. I really like the way it slowly turns into each one. I will say with the blue down here at the bottom, it's very subtle changes. So you can see, like, you could barely tell on camera. You could tell in person better, but so this is a slightly lighter blue and this is a darker blue, but I feel like the way that it looks once it's worked up is so cute. I don't love Red Heart Super Saver. It's not the softest. I will say though that the yarn was really not too bad to work with. I really only had it split maybe 1 or 2 times, like really not too bad. I remember it being much worse, but I wish it was softer. I know that there are things that you can do to make yarn softer after you've worked it up. I've heard of people using like a steamer and steaming their plushies to make them softer. Have you heard of that? Have you tried it? I might have to try that because he is like not the softest, but how stinking cute is he? I really like this one. I think it's funny because I like the skein of the 2 Big Twist yarns better, but then once I worked up the plushies, I didn't like them as much. I kind of just thought this skein of yarn was just okay, but then once I work up the plushie, it's so cute. Now, I did not get to all of the colors. I didn't even touch the green. I didn't get back to any of these like yellows and oranges or anything, so it does stripe a lot slower. So I feel like you could make so many squids out of this one thing of yarn, and you could make a whole army of squids that they would all look a little bit different, which I think would actually be really cute. I only have one last one to make in this Caron Simply Soft, but I will have to make this one tomorrow, so I will catch you guys then. Okay, here is the finished Caron Simply Soft squid. And as you can see, as I was working on the body, the colors started to pool. Isn't that cool looking? I do think it's pretty neat looking. I like the way that the head and the legs are the more variegated look, and then the colors kind of pooled right here in the middle. So if that is something you really like, then this could be perfect for you. And also if you like yarn that is the more bright colors, the bright rainbow, this could also be great for you. I think I still kind of prefer the more traditional rainbow colors, but I do really like this. I can't complain about it too much. The yarn maybe split a couple of times as I was working with it, but I've had much worse experiences with Caron Simply Soft lately, so I don't know, maybe this specific dye lot was made a little nicer. I have no idea, but I didn't have any knots. I didn't have any splitting, or like I said, maybe 1 or 2 times that it split, but not too bad. So I can't complain. I will say one thing about the Caron Simply Soft, if you don't already know, is that it is a bit thinner. So let's compare to this is the Red Heart Super Saver. You can tell that it is much larger than the Caron Simply Soft, even though they say they're the same weight. There is definitely a difference here. So, which I don't know, yeah, you can tell right there. So that's just one thing to keep in mind, but as far as texture goes, this is much scratchier, this is much softer, so there's kind of pros and cons to every single one of these squids. So I'm going to do the final sewing on these guys, just sewing in the ends, and then I will do some final thoughts. Okay, our little squid friends are done. I did finish these yesterday, and I didn't have time to finish filming the video yesterday, so here I am finishing the outro. I had so much fun making these. You will have to let me know who is your favorite. I am absolutely shocked to say that this one is my favorite. I really did not think that I was going to like the striped yarn, but I love the ombre effect that it gives. I just don't like the texture, so that is the bad part of it. Will each of these yarns awe me? Yes, for sure. And I think they each have their own special place and probably each have different patterns that they would look good on. But at the end of this, I feel like I am still looking for my perfect rainbow ombre variegated yarn. So let me know down below, what is your favorite rainbow yarn? And maybe I'll do a part 2 to this video. So let me know, who's your favorite squid? Let me know, what's your favorite rainbow ombre colorful yarn? And also let me know, what should I do with the rest of all of this yarn that I have? I really think that mermaid tails would look really cute in rainbow yarn. I mentioned a spider would look cute with this yarn. I think there's so many options, but let me know what you would make with all of this rainbow yarn if you had it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And if you liked the video, be sure to hit that like button. You can subscribe, stick around. Let me know what other kind of projects you want to see me work on, what other kind of yarns you want to see me test. And you can follow me on social media. It's just the Faded Wildflower everywhere. And again, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.